it's time for us to get into the community development segment. And today we're going to be talking about Galamsey. Now, if you followed some of the news items that we were discussing, one of the things that says some Jonah statements that he made, he said, it's a shame that Galamsey issues no longer make the headlines. And this is on citinewsroom.com. Now, I just want to say that I think he has a point in the sense that it's no longer that sore touching issue that we were frustrated about and the whole country was up in arms against. But here on Citi, one of the things that I have noticed is that almost every few days there's a report on Galamsey. There's something we deal with on Galamsey. I'll take you as far back as March 26th. All right, from March 26th till date, there are at least 8 stories on Galamsey on citinewsroom.com. It's a very important issue for us. Okay, we began the drive as far back as 2016, went out on the streets, 2015, went out on the streets, Stop Galamsey Now. We championed it from right here at Citi. And we want to take a look at it. I mean, before we even look at the story for today, Elaine, I don't know what your thoughts are as far as the rampant nature in which Galamsey seems to be spreading around the country, but also the apparent inability of the government machinery to put a stop to this.
I remember when drones were set to be flown in,
yes,
to be monitoring.
We bought the drones.
We bought them, and they are going to be flying along the Galamsey areas to be able to help curb. I remember when the military will be sent into those Galamsey areas, townships, to help curb or stop illegal mining. I remember when our leaders, most of them, like Sam Jonah has rightly said, they'll come out to speak against it, that Galamsey is destroying our water bodies. Now, we keep saying that we are looking to the future. Maybe in 5 years to come, we may be importing water. But let's go as far back as industrialization. When it started around Spintex and when the industry started springing up, you know, there's a lot radiation that started emanating. It was being emitted into our airs, the atmosphere. There was no seriousness that was attached to it. Right now, what we have are cancers that are going up in the middle age because those were the people that were settling there. Now, as far back as the industrialization has gone, it has affected us. Now, I'm linking this to Galamsey. We are thinking that in the near future, where is the near future? The future is now. If you're traveling or you are a constant traveler, it has entered Côte d'Ivoire. Their waters have started diminishing. We are saying that in the near future. The future is now because if you think that you live in Accra and there's no water body that is being affected by all the Galamsey that is going on, now you are eating fish from the sea. Do you think that the river and Cobra, River Pra, around Trifo, all of them that they join, they are joining. Each river joins a river, and they are all coming to the ocean, and that is where we are getting our fishes from. You say you are a vegetarian, you are not eating any type of meat or anything, but you are eating
the
fish.
Vegetables you are eating.
The vegetables you are eating, how are they being washed? What water is being used to wash them? Now, 2 days or 3 days ago, we were prompting for 2020 news, and I see children diving into a Galamsey affected river. The cyanide they are taking in there is going to be affecting them.
As for them, they are playing. As far as they are concerned, they are only playing.
To them, they do not even know the implications. Now, pregnant women along these areas definitely are going to be affected. Deformities are going to come out as per the children they are going to be giving birth to. This is going to affect our future leaders because now they are in the womb. By the time they come out, cyanide has affected them. The ions that have been able to affect them, you may not have an idea. Now they come out and they become special children. And they are deformed for life. Now let's go into, we are talking about aqua. All our aqua systems are being destroyed. and we will be importing water. Maybe because you live in Accra, you drive in all the big cars, it will not affect you. When Citi was championing it and flyers were being shared around, some people did not want to take the flyers because to them, it doesn't affect them in any way or form. Because you live in Accra, but you have a family, who has a brother, who has a sister who lives there. In a village, around river, and it will affect you.
The country is interconnected. So
it is interconnected. Now look at our vegetations. They are all going away because definitely they have to cut a tree. They have to pave way to make sure that they are putting their machinery there so they can have a standing to be able to. Now they've even left the river bodies and they are entering into our vegetation. Our forestation is being destroyed just because of Galamsey, and our leaders watch on, say nothing out of fear, I do not know, out of maybe some form of investment that we do not know, and it will be affecting those of us who are growing to sit in this and abhor it for the rest of our lives. Galamsey is a menace. It's a canker that has affected this country, and if we do not take care, it will destroy everything that we have when it comes to naturals. Everything natural will be destroyed, and at the long run, even the thing that you think you're eating that is healthy, which is lettuce or cucumber, trust me, it will be affected by Galamsey in a way or form. Our leaders should either rise up, or the youth will definitely have to rise up for this.
Well, we have a report for you that we're going to show you. It's coming from our correspondent and colleague, Advocacy in NIM. Let's take a look at this report. When we come back, we'll have some other conversations as well.
Despite government claims of progress in combating Galamsey, the reality on the ground, particularly evident in the state of the Pra River as of April 13, 2024, points a dire picture. This prompts youth leaders and environmental advocates to unite in a call for genuine commitment from the authorities to tackle the Galamsey menace. Leading the charge is Elizabeth Aluava, Executive Director of the Ghana Environmental Advocacy Group, stressing the urgency of the intervention.
Already, a few have died in open pits in our communities. 4 in Nkrofo, 2 in Anya, and 1 in Telekobokazo. Do their deaths mean anything to you? No. Our cocoa production has reduced, and whatever little we have left will soon be tagged as contaminated with heavy metals. Isn't that concerning enough? We demand action. We need action. We know the excellent work of some of our gallant traditional leaders, like Nanabo Zokaku II. We also know the work Osadefu Osadeyo Ajimanvedu II is doing. Our own Tumubula Kakwaka III is also doing the same. And others like him, what they have done to keep Galamsey destruction from their lands. We are also aware of the complicit role the state and some of our Nanano have played in the poisoning of our lands and rivers. Rest assured, there will be a time of reckoning for all. If the state won't keep us safe, and some of our traditional leaders are also going to betray us, then it will be up to us, regular citizens like you and I, to stand up and protect our communities.
Youth leaders like Matthias Nsia from our win in the Western North and Nanakaku Ayemia, the youth chief of Zimaland, decried the complicity of certain state actors in facilitating Galamsey activities, vowing action if the situation persists.
There is so much tension in Asemkrum, which can escalate into high violence at any time. The worst of it all is that the number of Galamseyers outnumber the town's youth. With contempt of court and impunity, the elders and the 14 native Galamseyers have imported over 300 foreigners to invade Asemkrum. They are uprooting cocoa trees without even consulting the owners. Asemkrum citizens of the land of freedom and justice are bereft of justice. The people have lost confidence in the police and the judiciary. Money has perverted justice and truth. Nevertheless, they have taken their future into their own hands, turning to the spiritual realm to deal with everyone who are deprived even a penny in this case.
The government is behind it. We have our DC who is just going. The DC is just going. Because what we are doing is nonsense to him. He is going. Anytime you go and then catch some illegal miners, including the Chinese people, then they tell you order from above. Order from we only have one above. That is heaven. Order from where? Order from where? Order from above. Then they make our cases silly. They make our cases null and void. So I'm not sending any message to the government because the government is right behind it. What we are doing, in fact, it is in our heads. The Chinese in the China or the Chinese in China doesn't know that there is gold beneath this earth. So if we have gotten him with excavators digging our land and then devastating our land and then destroying our water bodies, you know, these water bodies, the same river bodies is what we drink over here. And then even if it is dug and then made some sachet or pure water, it is the same underground water. So the presence of cyanide, the presence of mercury and are all found in the water. And then they travel very, very far.
All right, so there you have it. This report was brought to you by our colleague and correspondent for the Western region, Advocacy in Nim. Now you can see some very passionate young people standing up and speaking against the ills of Galamsey. Our correspondent who brought us this story is on the line, joined us on the line. Advocacy, good morning.
Good morning, Governor.
Yes, welcome to Breakfast Date. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Super. Now, one of the things that has piqued my interest is that there was an intervention by government a couple of years ago, and mainly last year, focused on it last year, called community mining. And this was supposed to become the savior of the situation, as it were, that those who are in Galamsey will then go into community mining. But the protest that was held, it looks like even the community mining, the young people are against it. What do you make of what's going on? What are some of the other details that we didn't get to find out from the story?
Well, Kogu, yeah, it's true the government actually came out with this community mine concept, hoping that will help to streamline the artisanal small-scale mining sector and then get it well regulated with the Minerals Commission actually spearheading it. But unfortunately, right from the beginning of the concept of, the introduction of the community mines, even the Minerals Commission was not made part of the regulators until recently.
I see.
And again, the community mines is being implemented in selected areas. The Galamsey, if you look at all the districts we have in the region, almost all the districts have some kind of community mines, Galamsey activities happening there, except for those within the metropolis and then the municipal assembly. But when you go to district assemblies where it's a bit rural, almost all the communities find themselves, engulfed by Galamsey activities. And so the community mines hasn't actually spread its tenterhooks to all the corners of the region. And again, if you look at the model of the operation that the community mines is actually using, it doesn't so much look different from the method being used by the traditional or what we know as Galamsey operators, the legal.
I see.
The distraction is not that much. And it become, if you look at the community mines, they feel they have the backing of the government because it's been legalized for the operation. And so even when they are operating without certain standards, it's difficult for regulators to actually fight because they have the backing of those in power. But for me, what is worrying is the fact that the government, in addition to the community mines, introduced things like the river police and all that, whom we are told, we are sure that we're going to patrol our water bodies on a regular basis to ensure that those who are operating within our water bodies are stopped. But, you come here, I don't remember seeing any of these river police on pra, seeing them on pra or on Cobra. These water bodies are not being patrolled as it was promised. And so these are some of the limitations that we still have when it comes to actually living in the bad, these illegal galamsey activities, which has become a concern.
So, as far as you're concerned, I mean, you live in the Western region and have done so for a very long time. Have we lost the fight against galamsey?
If I heard your question right, that's whether it has the fight has been lost.
Yes, yes.
It has, because I mean, the Minerals Commission must be actually given adequate capacity. What is the strength of their staffing? To what extent can they do regular monitoring of our water bodies and even do regular visitations of these, I mean, areas that we are having these illegal mining activities going on? And also the involvement of politicians. Where you see illegalities happening, when you go there, the people are emboldened to be doing those illegalities because they feel even when they are arrested, the next minute they will be back. And so I think is that political, I mean, backing that these people have that must be checked. If the politicians can't remove themselves from, I mean, their support when it comes to whatever is happening in the illegal space of mining, it will help.
Advocacy, I recently heard of a police vehicle, a policeman patrolling with his vehicle one of the galamsey sites, and the vehicle actually fell into the river and the policeman lost his life. I don't know if you're aware of this story.
Yes, I've heard it, and it's not just that. If you come to Elembele, we've had about 4 people dying galamsey sites. I mean, galamsey sites, not that they are participants, but these are people who went trying to sort of challenge some of these illegal operators. People's land are being forced. People's cocoa farms are being forced to be given for these operators. And when you resist, you are in trouble because of the political backing. And so it's a concern. And the places have become a no-go area for advocates who don't want to see these galamsey activities go on. If you try to show, there are areas in the region, if you go to the Wasa, Amenfi areas, the Sankregwa and the rest.
Yes.
On both sides of the road, you see galamsey clear going on. And you ask yourself, don't we have DCs, I mean, police all patrolling the road? They say it. But these are not places that you want to go there as an advocate against the illegal practice.
Really?
And want
so what happened to the Paraman chief of Soso who stood against galamsey, and even there were reports of having visible evidence of recovery of some of the rivers in their area?
Yeah, for that place, see, that is what I talk about, the backing of leadership. If the leadership is opposed to it, then the people will definitely fall in line.
Okay.
Over there, this is not a municipal or a metropolitan area. It's not a cosmopolitan area. This is a rural area where there is so much respect and reverence for whatever
for traditional leadership.
And so when you have the leadership actually standing against it, the people don't have any choice but to follow suit.
Okay.
But when it comes to the south, you know, it's a bit cosmopolitan and there isn't that much. I mean, people don't hold the traditional leadership
in such high esteem. Okay.
For which, and then the statement that the water bodies, the River Pride and the rest are seeing some improvement. These are all not, I mean, factual statements because many a times they've made this statement, but after a while you go back and it's that polluted. And it's all because when the seas, I mean, tide goes up, it washes up the river, it cleanses a little, and then when it goes down, the debt comes down. So the water hasn't actually, the river water hasn't seen any improvement as we speak.
My goodness.
How are the people living? We know that you can try to boil the water and definitely try to make it pure enough to drink, but definitely some of the minerals will settle, but they're microscopic. If you don't see them You think you're healthy, so you'll be drinking them. So how are they living? And what type of awareness is being created for the children who do not think that the water is dangerous for them to swim in because they are collecting mercury and cyanide?
Well, I would say they are living dangerously because these are communities who used to just drink straight from the river water.
Yeah.
You just take a big leaf and just cook some of the water and drink it. But today you can't do that because it's so much polluted. Now, talking of how they are living, they now have to do their own primary kind of, treatment, water treatment by buying these alums. So their cost of living has now been, the cost of living has now gone up because they now have to spend money on buying alum. And how many of these people can
afford
find money to buy alum before they can, treat it. So those who cannot do that, just use it dangerously. And even I'm told that the alum taking the debt down does not take away the metals in the water.
It doesn't.
And so the impact, the negative impact of it will definitely show up with time. And so they are basically living dangerously, very uncomfortable, and we have kids who are actually swimming in this polluted water and
naked.
Only God knows how dangerous it will be to their system if some of this water finds itself through their mouth. And so they are living dangerously as we speak when it comes to communities living within the catchment of this. And it's not just them. If you go to places like Lembele, there are places that they prepare acheke, curry, and the rest.
Straight
and they use
from
this
there. Yes.
highly polluted water to actually prepare the acheke. And some of them find its way back in the Peninsula metropolis and beyond. And those city dwellers who think Galamsey is far away from them ends up also consuming some of these polluted river bodies.
Wow. Advocacy, thank you very much for this report, and thank you very much for speaking to us this morning. We appreciate your time. Thank you. All right, so that was Advocacy J. Inim. He is Western Regional Correspondent, and he brought us that report, and he's just elaborating a little more to give us some more context to the story. And it's very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. You know, the ramifications of this thing that we're doing to ourselves as a nation is very dire. It's not just about the optics of polluted waters, but economically, it poses grave danger to the nation. Because you see, for the longest time, we were touted, and we were, in reality, the highest producer of cocoa in the world. Right now, we're no longer number one. We haven't been number one for a long time.
Not even number 3,
we've not been number one. Okay, Côte d'Ivoire has taken over. Now, Côte d'Ivoire has been very deliberate about the control of cocoa as their first primary product, right? And so we are joking with our own. We are right now doing about 500,000 tons.
400
a year. If we are lucky. It's a problem, right? Now look, Mr. Kokofu, who is the former EPA, there's a headline in citinewsroom.com, which story written on 10th of April. It says, Ghana's cocoa risks possible ban over Galamsey-induced contamination. So you think about it, right? Cocoa farm is here. A part of the cocoa farm has been excavated looking for gold. Polluted waters are seeping into the cocoa farms, what is left of it. So the cocoa is now in danger of being riddled with arsenic, cyanide, lead, mercury, all these other things that we use to wash gold and all those things, right? So even our cocoa, the small one that is left, is likely to be contaminated. And if that happens...
It's not likely, it's contaminated.
Well, if that happens, we may also be banned. We cannot sell our cocoa anyway. Think about that for a second. We have...
Madam Faustina.
Yes. Faustina.
Hello, Madam Faustina. Good morning.
Good morning, dear.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
As a concerned citizen, as a mother, with all the empathy You have endured this for a long time in Nzema. We know it has affected all your water bodies and how to cook, how you're living, how to even use the water in your daily life has affected you badly. And you are championing the youth to stand against this. My first question goes to what's the leadership? Because if I am a Chinese and I am coming into your country, if I'm not directed to where there is gold, I won't know. So what are our chiefs or the chiefs in Nzema doing about this to help curb or stop the illegal mining that is affecting our water bodies?
It's unfortunate. Some say that they don't work at the Minerals Commission, and that when a letter is brought from the Minerals Commission, they will have no say. All that they do is to allow them to go ahead to do whatever they want to do on our land. Very pity.
They have no say whatsoever.
Come again?
They have no say whatsoever.
Because whoever led them came with a letter from the Minerals Commission, and that some chiefs say that they don't work at the Minerals Commission. So when a letter is brought, they will allow them to do it.
Now, just share with us, what does a normal day look like for you in terms of the water? A normal day, what does it look like for you in terms of usage of water? How do you manage the way the water is dirty? How do you manage?
It's very unfortunate. You see, to get a wholesome water is difficult these days because all our streams, our rivers are polluted. You can't get good water from the Ankobra River, neither Subli or the river in my town. The town that the youth go to the riverside, fetch water, and get some fish. Now they can't do it. Now they can't swim, they can't bath in that water anymore because the water has been polluted. The color has been changed. It is no more cool as it was. It is no more oxygenated as it was. So all the settler farmers are finding it difficult to drink potable water. They have to import sachet water. That is very expensive. So some do with the polluted water.
So moving forward, as a community, what can we do in terms of just ordinary citizens? What can we do to put pressure on various leaders within our communities to put an end to this?
You see, that was the reason for the Ghana Environmental Advocacy Group for the press conference held only last Saturday at Bakanta. The idea was to find a lasting solution to such atrocities perpetrated by the few selfish and wicked individuals. And we called upon our Ulai. In Nzemaland, we have 7 Paraman chiefs, which we call a Ulai, but unfortunately, none of them came. And the chiefs, only few attended, and the elders, only few attended. However, because the whole thing is on air, they are listening, and we hope they will hear it. And the youth, some are saying that they don't have any job to do. So if there's Galamsey, they will go to Galamsey side, forgetting the serious effect on them and everybody.
Yeah. So
we are on it, sensitizing them. We are praying that the youth will come together and even form as for companies so they can stand on their feet to fight the Galamsey in our land. All over the western region, we have a problem with Galamsey. All the river bodies are polluted.
Yeah.
All the forests are going away. They are cutting trees. And we don't know what will happen to the next generation.
Well, Madam Faustina, we really thank you for your time, and we're hoping that...
You see, we've forgotten that the effect is so much on the youth. Go to Galamsey site, you see a whole lot of girls with children. Teenage pregnancy is all over. Teenage pregnancy, teenage mothers. Now the doctors tell us that HIV is prevalent in our area. They tell us that even hepatitis B is coming out because of the Galamsey. They tell us that malaria is rampant because of the holes that they leave at the Galamsey site, which breeds mosquitoes. A whole lot of diseases are increasing. These kidney diseases, for instance, we attribute a lot of death to cases. So we don't know that these gone too soon. What a shock! Painful exits are coming out because of this Galamsey activities. We have a lot of skin diseases all over, and problems with cooking. It's very pathetic.
Thank you very much, Madam Faustina Ekuba Mensah. Is a concerned
You are welcome.
Zima citizen.
Good morning to all your listeners as well.
All right, thank you. We have joining us Daryl Bosu of Arocha, Ghana. He's joining us on Zoom. Daryl, good morning.
Yes, good morning, my brother. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How much longer are we going to lament and bemoan this situation till we get respite?
I think you've asked me this question 1,000 times, and I've always said that. I mean, where we are now, and if you look at the current posture of our government, they have no interest any further. And also because of the fact that we're in election year, that is when a lot of the regulations on the environment are relaxed so people can pander and feed the political machinery. So I don't think in this year we are going to see any serious action from government. And I've always said that the change we need is not going to come from this government. We need a different government to be able to give us the solutions that are needed. I don't care who it is, but I don't think that the government as we have it today is really interested. Actually, they are benefiting from this whole menace. So they have no interest. Everything they do to reassure us that they are committed to dealing with it is just for the optics. And so I think that from where we've come from, all the various dialogues, all the new laws that they have passed to make sure that dealing with Galamsey becomes easy, and still seeing the plunder, the impunity all around, not sparing people's cocoa farms, forest reserves that are protected are being plundered and all of that. It tells you that there is no interest whatsoever. So I think at this moment, Ghanaians should only rely on our own citizen actions to deal with this at our various communities and our various towns and regions. That is the only way we can do. Because, I mean, if you even go and report about these incidents, I mean, even sometimes the police don't even mind you. And that is the seriousness of the issue that we are confronted with.
I'll put my presidency on the line. Nana Akufo-Addo said this in 2017. His presidency, what's happened to that statement that he made?
I think this is a question that we actually want to see the media take the mic to the president and say, what have you done about this promise you made? Because we have been very baffled as to why the president can say all of that and still allow all the agencies connected to the executive to sit aloof while the plunder the impunity and the destruction of our water bodies and lands continue. I've always said that if there's anybody who really impressed us and who really gave us some hope that we're going to see the way and manner we care for our environment turn around significantly, is the current president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo. I mean, if you listen to everything he said on January 7th, during his investiture, you have no choice but to just gather your wits, your tools, everything, and rally behind him. And that is what we did.
Yeah.
But we have seen clearly over time that it was just to get the people to follow him and then leave us to drown. And that is exactly what we're experiencing. So he really made the statement, I think, more for populist interest and also for populist gain, but not really a true commitment to the actions that will make sure that we realize everything he really wanted to see. And that's why I said that if we want to see any changes, we need to take the lead ourselves now.
Darryl, thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, so that was Darryl Bosu. He is with Arocha, Ghana.